everybody and welcome to my video, Getting Tidier. I hope you're all well and I hope you're having a lovely Easter, whatever you may be doing. Now, some of you might be wondering what my first few clips are all about. This is all part of my giveaway. So when I get to 4,000 followers, I will be giving away some of my Ladybird timers. Now, these are not the ones that I use, these are brand new ones, but this is exactly the version that I use around about my house. You'll see me setting my timer for a whole variety of different things. If I want to do a 10-minute tidy up, or I want to do more of a detailed, spend a bit more time sorting out and going through cupboards in a bit more of a detailed way and get more organised, you will see me using my Ladybird. So if you are interested in winning a Ladybird timer, add your comment to my video, like my video, please make sure you're subscribed, and when I get to 4,000 I will do my draw. And I'll go through all the names of the people that said yes they were interested, and we'll do a selection like we did beforehand. So whilst I've been talking, you will have seen a few different clips of what you're going to expect to see in this video. So first of all, you'll see me tidying up at our accommodation, the first accommodation when we went away. But most of the video is me back in our home, sorting, tidying, cleaning, organising after coming back from our holiday. And as many of you know who follow me, you'll know that we went to Durham, we went to Birmingham, we came home for about a day and then we were off again. So there's lots for me to sort out. And as I've said many times before, sometimes it does feel like you're going in the wrong direction, but as long as you keep on keeping on, you're going to keep on making improvements to your home. And that's the ethos that I have in terms of making improvements in my home. Now you'll see me filling up dishwasher while I was away. I wasn't really keen on this dishwasher at all because the things on the bottom level kept falling through the gaps. Really the bottom level was only good for big plates or saucepans. And then the second place that we stayed in Amsterdam, they had like a half-size dishwasher, and the only thing you could get on the top level was one saucepan. That was how small it was. So it did make me think a little bit in terms of if ever I found a way of getting a dishwasher, how I would not want one with big gaps at the bottom, and I wouldn't want one which was just a very small sized one. So the accommodation that we had was nice. I did think it was a bit strange that there was no draining rack at all. I know there's a dishwasher, but there are some things you can't put in the dishwasher, aren't there? Like those lunch boxes, like that chopping board. I don't think you can put any of those things in the dishwasher. So I did find that a bit strange. You just had to put them on the side. Or I guess what other people do is wipe up things straight away, dry things up straight away. So I hope you're all well. We did have a lovely time away. It was quite I don't know, it felt like we were away for a long time, but actually it was only a week. So we had the 4 days in Efteling, and then we had the rest of the time in Amsterdam. Really liked Amsterdam, beautiful architecture, loved the canals. There was a very, very strong smell. Won't go into detail because some of you watched this with your families. And I did find that stayed in my nose wherever I went. I found it very difficult to get rid of it. But other than that, I thought that was an amazing place. We also went into the Basilica or the cathedral, had a little look round just before Mass. It opened at 12 and Mass started at 12:30. I would have liked to actually stay for the service, but I wouldn't stay for the whole service because I won't understand what they're saying, and I felt it was rude to leave part way through. So we left at about 12:25. We had a little look round. You couldn't take any photographs. Looked round, had a look at the wonderful pictures, all to do with Easter on the walls, which was lovely, and then we left before the service started. But you can see my kitchen looks like, oh my goodness, everything's back to square one. But there are quite a few things on the side which have got other homes. So those of you that are eager-eyed will spot there are 2 big bottles of gin. That's not for us. We bought that for our in-laws who like gin and tonics. That'll last them for the next couple of years. They're going to obviously be paying us for those, but they wanted to us to get them from duty free. A lot cheaper and apparently a lot better. There's other things left over from holiday that need to be put away. So yeah, lots to do. And of course, as ever, when you come back from holiday, lots and lots of washing. So we travelled back on the Wednesday night into Thursday, and that only takes us about an hour and a half to get home from the ferry, which is good. And so we spent the Thursday at home just relaxing, spent the time trying to get the house sorted, doing some washing. My daughter did some homework in the afternoon in preparation for her exams. And then Friday, we always have the same Easter routine. Now, some of you shared your Easter routines with me and what you get up to, which was nice. I know some of you don't have many family members, so you tend to stay at home and have a quieter time now, or your grandchildren are grown up, for example. But we do exactly the same thing on Good Friday. So we always get up, and about 10 o'clock we go to my mum's, who invites us to have hot cross buns. So I go there with my sister's family. And then after we've had the hot cross buns and had a catch up, we then go out to a church in the country, which is very important to one of our aunts. So Easter was a very, very special and important time to her. And so we always, once a year, we go out to her grave, put some flowers on her grave and have a little look in the church. Although the church has received some funding to make improvements to the roof, which is fantastic. It's a very, very old church. It's Saxon. So the church was actually closed. So for the first time in a long time, I wasn't able to write in the book, the visitor's book. So my brother-in-law said, well, you have to write in it twice next year, Emma. So that's what I'll have to do. And then the rest of Friday we came home and I did some stuff in different things in the house. And me and my daughter, I said to her about doing an Easter craft, and she said yes, she wanted to do that. And I've been saving things on my social media, little ideas. But then when I asked her what she wanted to do, she actually wanted to make Labubu stickers. So I thought, if that's what she wants to do, and she doesn't want to do an Easter craft, that's fine. We'll make Labubu stickers. And my husband has gone to Durham to finish off. Now, I mentioned to you that I found a lovely tenant, I think, this is the end of the project. Once I get the tenant in, that's it. So I thought I'd found a lovely tenant. Everything was progressing. I usually you can't take a deposit early. So I usually take an amount of money towards the first payment of the rent. And that means that if all the references come back absolutely awfully, they don't get that money back. But if all the references come back as they've told me they should come back, that money goes towards their first rent payments. However, I started doing the references before I took that payment, and I'm glad, because once I take the payment is so difficult. If something comes back not as good as what I would like, I don't ever want to be in a situation where I don't give somebody their money back. I don't want to keep that payment. So what happened was I asked for all the details and the reference. The lady came back absolutely fine. All her references were very, very good. She provided her ID and her statements, all fine. Now, I know that she has had past problems with credit. So I do believe that sometimes people can make mistakes. Sometimes people can get things wrong, and I think people can change. So she was very open about the problems that she'd experienced in the past, and I'm willing to accept that. But I asked them both, were there any current issues? And she said no, and he was a bit vague. And I said, oh, well, what would your credit record be like? And he said, oh, well, probably not that great. It took ages for his statement to come through. And when it did, there were several bounced direct debits. Now, I always look through the statements. I don't mind if someone's using their overdraft a little bit. I make sure that I see regular credits going in from the employer where I've got the reference from. But as soon as I see bounced direct debits, well, that's alarm bells. So I messaged back and said about it, and the lady said, oh, this was because the salary came in on this date and there was a problem and they couldn't change the direct debit. So I said, okay. I said, well, if it's a one-off, then I can make an exception. So can you provide me the previous month's statements? Now, this is not for 1 month. His statement spans over 2.5 months. So I waited and waited and waited for this. And I think, well, they're really, really so desperate for this house. And then I think sometimes it can be difficult to get statements, can't it, if you do online banking. But then I've got it through, and sure, there are no bounced direct debits on it, but it's for the period before. And I feel like he's purposely given me that period before and avoided January and December because there are other bounced payments. It's such a shame, because they really, really wanted the house to move away from the area that they're currently in. They want better for their son and for their daughter, and the area they're currently in really is not very nice. So it's very, very much a shame. And I did try to do his references. The first telephone number apparently was wrong, so I'd been trying to ring this telephone number and got nowhere because it was wrong. And then all the other telephone numbers for the other references, personal references, unanswered. And he's in between employments. So I said to my husband, well, thinking with your heart and thinking with your head, yes, I would like to give the house to her because I think her as a mother, and she's sort of turned her life around and she's got requalified. I would like to give her the opportunity, but I'm really not sure about him. So it looks like we're going to go with an agent. So the agent is so the project will be finished once the carpets go down, and then the agent will find a tenant for me. So a bit of a shame, but I'm not making another trip back. So this will be the last trip back. So thinking forward to the next few days. So Easter Sunday is a very special day for us, as I know it is for many of you. So Easter Sunday, we're not going to get up too early, but we will have chocolate in the morning. Me and my husband haven't had any chocolate for 40 days and 40 nights by the time it gets to Sunday. My daughter gave up sweets. Not that she actually eats that many sweets, but she just wanted to say that she was giving something up. And also, she's got a Labubu, which I got her, me and my husband got her for her Easter present. As you know, she's dairy-free. Actually, she's not really that keen on chocolate. So she loves having all the Easter eggs, but I guarantee there'll be some that'll be sitting on the piano at Christmas time. So I'm going to try not to do that. I'm going to try to think, well, should we melt them down and make some crispy cakes or do something different, which I think she quite like that. So rather than getting her more chocolate, we got her this little toy, which is all the rage. Some of you will have probably heard all about them. So she's very excited about opening that. She does want to do a hunt in the garden. So she's got a few little things that she can look around in the garden and hunt for. And then at 11:30, we're going to go to church. And I've been invited to my mum's for 1 o'clock. And I've said to my mum, the problem is that the service should be an hour, so 11:30 to 12:30, but sometimes the senior pastor does talk a bit over time, and sometimes we don't get out of there till 1. So I've asked my mum, is she okay if it's just after 1? That seems, I think, that all the timing and everything was agreed when we were away, you see. And the two most important things to me are spending time with family and going to church. So that would be good if we can do both. The alternative would be going to the church service at 9, which would then mean that my daughter wouldn't be able to do her little hunt in the garden and things. Wouldn't be able to have some of her chocolate in the morning. So that's our preference. And then we'll spend the afternoon on Sunday at my mum's with my sister. And then Easter Monday, we don't have any plans yet. Tuesday is the last day of the school holidays, and my daughter goes back to school on Wednesday. So it feels like we've really had a proper break. She's also managed to do quite a lot of schoolwork, which is good. We need to do a double check to make sure she doesn't actually have any proper homework, because all the work she's been doing has been like revision for her summer exams. And she's not practiced either of her instruments for ages, so I need to remind her to do that today. And then on Wednesday, I'm back. Now, can you believe my daughter's back to school on Wednesday? I'm back to work on Wednesday. And I've organised to deliver a workshop. When I looked at my diary and realised, I couldn't quite believe it, but I think it's a small price to pay. Was what I should do is I should deliver one workshop a month. But I have been told that's fine if I have a term time contract, etc., etc. So there's no expectation for me to have run workshops through the summer holidays. But just in terms of how some of the sort of the scheduling works, I think there's a couple of months where I have 2 workshops almost in a month. And obviously I've not delivered a workshop for the last few weeks. And then before that, I often have clashes with my other job. That's the thing. I'm delivering training with job number 1 as well. You'll be pleased to know that my requests for both jobs to slightly lower my hours has been agreed. So it's only a small change, but that just means that I've got more holiday hours to take. So what I'm actually going to do is, as you know, I try not to work in the holidays, but neither of the jobs are actually term time only jobs. So I do need to kind of juggle the hours. I can't literally be off for 6 weeks of the summer holidays. But what I'm going to do with these extra hours that I've now got access to, I'm actually going to use them and do specific things in the house. So rather than just use that time for the holidays, I'm going to try to schedule that as particular jobs in the house. I'm going to go through a few of your comments now. So thank you very, very much for your lovely comments. You write such helpful, lovely, kind comments. Always so helpful. So thank you to all of you. Now, the first comment I'm going to read is from Rainey Milliman. And Rainey says, I've changed my declutter process a wee bit. Instead of just reorganising things and packing them away again, I'm looking at each item and deciding if it's really something I want and why, or if it's something I don't want for myself, it will go into the donation box or bag. I've been keeping things for someday, as I've mentioned before, but I also know that even if I reach a grand old age, some of those someday items are really not something I definitely want to do. Some were harebrained ideas, perhaps a bit trendy at one time, so I'm taking honesty and reality and putting them to use with each piece I touch. This is great, Rainey. The only time it gets difficult is when I can picture the finished result, but then I ask myself, do I really want to put that much effort into something that involves so many processes? Probably not. And if it was so great, why haven't I done it? I'm determined to reach a point where I can open a desk drawer or a closet and not have to rearrange it to get what I need. Fighting the closet is the worst because it keeps me from doing certain chores because of the fight and hassle it has been. Older house means small closets, but I'm going to win this battle. And before I forget, good job on the 99 pieces. I think it's a great way to do something, although I think there is a bit more to the process for you. Regardless, you did manage to eliminate a lot. I do recommend that you purchase some plastic tubs to fit under your sink and put all your items in them. Put a container under the drain trap in the event of a leak. I've had leaks end up in my plastic containers, which was okay, because A, I realised there was a leak, B, I was able to dry off the items in the tub, and C, it kept the leak from becoming a worse problem than just a leak. I kept singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall through this whole video. Oh, lovely comment, Rainey. Can you believe, we had the conversation 99 red balloons, and someone says about 99 Luftballons. When we were in Holland, we watched this show, which I find very emotional, and it really does make me cry lots. Other people, they don't like it. They don't like it at all. They comment on all the social media groups. Oh, I don't know why people liked Caro. We thought it was awful. We thought it was useless. There's something very special about it. It's a story of life, a story of living, a story of choices, a story of death, and a story of birth, a story of heartache. Cool, I'm sounding like I'm a salesperson for it. I think that I've mentioned this on my other video. If you're somebody who's a bit of a thinker, a bit of a reflector, and you're quite deep, I think you would like it. If you're someone who's just going to go along and think, oh, what's all this about? Then you probably wouldn't like it. But I've lost my thread now. The reason why I'm telling you this is because one of the songs that they played in part of the show was 99 Luftballons. And I was like, oh wow, what a coincidence. That was so strange. And as for the leak discussion, Rainy, a few months ago, you might have seen my leak. I had a big leak. I sorted it all out and cleared it all up, and my husband checked it, but it was totally my fault. I don't think I ever told him it was my fault, but I had undone some things and I hadn't done the things back up again properly. So I caused the problem. I like the idea of the separate containers. The problem is, I don't know how. I think I'd end up getting a lot less in the cupboard because you've got the U-bends. I can see though it would be very beneficial in many different ways because I could just pull out the containers to get things, and I'm just wondering whether I could have those stackable containers, which would mean I could probably get more in the cupboard. I need to look in that in more detail. As for you saying about changing your declutter process, this is exactly what I used to do. So I used to take everything out of somewhere, put everything back, but just in a tidier fashion. And then in 2 weeks' time, it'd all be untidy again. I'd have the same problem with getting the items in. Now, like with face creams and hand creams and makeup, things that I've not used or worn for 5 or 10 years, rather than thinking, oh, I'm going to use that at some point, I am starting to just bin things. As for some of these other things you talk about, I do recognise myself in what you're saying. I have been bought some lovely craft kits and I haven't done them, and I'm not sure I ever want to do them. And if I do them, I don't know where I'm going to put the item. So I do understand what you're saying. It's quite difficult, I think. It's quite difficult. Heather says, hi Emma, great decluttering. Thank you very much. LV Frankie, congratulations Emma on decluttering 99 items. If you had set this task a while ago, I think you would have found it much harder. Your progress is showing as you are able to make much quicker decisions. Thank you very much. I think you're right. I agree with you. I'm finding it easier to get rid of things. Right, next comment is from Andrea, Cook Mum. How are you, Andrea? I couldn't keep track of specific numbers, lol. I go by how many kitchen bags I can fill for donations. You sound just like me. I'd be like, what number am I on again? 1998. I graduated from high school in 1997. Wow. Oh, thanks, Andrea. And Angela gives me the thumbs up. Next comment is from Jane Mercer. Jane says, hi Emma, I'm on the same diet and fitness regime as you, as I was diagnosed with high blood pressure recently. I'm hoping to diet and exercise will bring it down for me. Good luck with your journey. That was 2 weeks ago, Jane. How have you been getting on? 2 steps forward, that's the main thing. Even if you have 1 step back, you're still moving forward. Tor Foster says, hi Emma, we had weevils in our flour. They escaped and were difficult to get rid of. Cleaning out the pantry, vacuuming, chucking stuff out as they seem to be hiding in cardboard. Still not sure if they're all gone as they're really tiny. Now I use sealed containers as much as possible and I put the flour in the freezer for a few days after I buy it. That's a good idea. Trisha Ball. Emma, don't go by the scale. Use a tape measure to see how many inches you lose. Plus, as you gain muscle, it weighs more. You can do it. Cheering you on. And how are you getting on? So you're losing weight, Trisha. You're trying to lose weight. Cynthia says, I don't see ads when I watch on my phone. So Cynthia, did you hear my post where I realised I've been making a mistake? For the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I haven't been adding adverts in the middle of my videos. I wondered why my ad revenue had gone down quite substantially, about 30 or 40 pounds, but my views were the same. And then I realised what I'd done. So yeah, Cynthia says, I don't see ads when I watch on my phone. Also, the dining room table looks lovely with nothing on it but the fresh flowers. Unfortunately, it didn't stay like that for long, Cynthia. Just as you said, to lose weight, you should eat less and exercise more. Concentrate on smaller portions, more protein and less carbs. You already eat plenty of vegetables. If you want a dessert, have it, but just have a tiny bit. This will keep you from going bonkers. I like that. My son lives about 3 hours west of me in Kerrville, Texas. Last week they had a terrible storm. There was hail the size of small baseballs. Wow. Everybody's roofs, windows and vehicles were severely damaged. Oh my goodness. I guess they've all been spending time getting quotes and getting everything fixed then. Is that common? Hailstones the size of small baseballs? God, I wouldn't want one of them hit me on the head. My daughter's listening and laughing at what I'm saying. I'm sorry if you can hear her. Don't be silly while Mummy's recording. Paper Playground says it's spring in Texas, which means the wonderful blue bonnets and wildflowers are blooming. It's an annual event where people literally stop on the side of the highways and take pictures of their kids and sometimes pets in the flowers. Spring also means we're hunkering down for storm and tornado season. Blessings from Texas. Do you have a shelter like that you go into, like underground? Paper playgrounds? That's what I'm wondering, for protection. I wonder whether you'd be able to do a little video of these flowers and put it on your own YouTube page, and then I can have a look at what you mean. I suppose I could Google them, couldn't I, and have a look. Angela Wag says, hi from Staffordshire, England. Good job, Emma. This week, I've done lots of extra things. I vacuumed stairs and cleaned and tidied the makeup drawer. Had new kettle and a toaster today. Both well used. We'll take the old ones to the recycling centre this week, as I've got lots of tree pruning to take also. Aching muscles too. Have a good week. And then Heather. Heather says, hi Emma. Long-time viewer, first-time commenter. Well, thank you so much, Heather. I'm glad you've been a long-time viewer and I'm glad that you've commented. I think you're doing a great job with getting tidier. I find myself agreeing with your views on the importance of certain items that have meaning and wanting to move things on in a better way, like reusing and recycling. I wonder if you should approach your goal, weight loss, fitness, in a similar way. You didn't put weight on overnight. It was a gradual process. Losing it in a sustainable way will also be a gradual process. I'm mid-40s and now firmly in the UK 14 size and find that current fashions just don't suit my body shape anymore. To be honest, Heather. So I'm similar, mid-40s and UK 14, but I've lost what the fashions are. I think I used to be so into fashion and I didn't spend a lot of money on clothes, but I always knew what the fashions were and I dressed fairly fashionably. And then when I had my daughter, the focus went for me to buying her clothes and taking an interest in how she looked. And I'm kind of a little bit lost with it all. I've decided to do something about it. I will spend some time over Easter figuring out my approach. I think key areas for me will be better portion control and reducing snacks, or better still, swapping them out for a more varied diet. I've done yoga off and on for about 20 years. You'd think I'd be super flexible, but actually I find it harder to do some things now than I did back in my 20s. Just think if you weren't doing the yoga. That's really good though, isn't it, Heather? Because just think if you weren't doing the yoga, you would find things harder. So another key area will be consistent practice of stretching and exercise. Do keep us posted if you like, but no pressure. I've no idea how you keep it up with all your jobs, hobbies, volunteering and family life. Also, it'd be great to win one of your Ladybird timers, so thank you for offering. Best wishes from Heather in Kent. That is a super duper comment. Thank you very much, Heather, and I'll put your name down as someone who would like to be in with a chance to win one of my Ladybird timers. Now, as you're watching the video, you'll see that I'm back at my daughter's wicker baskets, these cube baskets. Now, I think this is the third time I've gone back to these. So if you think about what we've talked to before in terms of decluttering, in terms of layers, some people can just go into an area and just grab everything and just bin it all or send it all to the charity shop. However, I would suspect that people who are like that don't have houses that are cluttered, don't have houses that are full of stuff. So like what that lady said to me a little while ago, your house didn't get like this overnight. You have to peel back the layers. So I think that I've looked at these wicker baskets 3 times, and yet I got my daughter to sit down behind the tripod. I checked all these different items with her, and we managed to get down to, well, we probably cleared out a whole basket, nearly a whole basket. And that then meant that where she's got other baskets sitting around the room with stuff, they were then transferred into the wicker basket that was nearly empty. We also managed to clear some things out of the space under her bed. I think there's 2 bags that are going to the charity shop stroke famous car boot sale, 2 bags which are for the rubbish, and 1 bag which is for recycling. So I was really pleased with the work that we managed to do, and I think my daughter was quite pleased to see that we managed to get rid of so much. And of course we couldn't do the car boot sale before because that wasn't the right weather, but now we have got the right weather. So I think it's time for me to get some boxes and to start filling things up, organise a Sunday where we're not busy, and we'll go down to the local car boot sale and see how much we managed to sell. Carrie Rawson says, Emma, I feel your pain. Losing weight is hard. I'm 50 on the 10th. Oh, I hope you had a lovely birthday. What did you get up to? Carrie says, my stepdaughter gets married in June. I'm enjoying my birthday month, and then I'm trying to diet. Another fantastic vlog. And then Amy replies to say, birthday month. One's birthday is one day. Indulge in foods and desserts that one day, then eat healthily the rest of the month. Oh, I like the idea of birthday month. Carrie says, normally I would, but as it's a big birthday, there's lots of celebrations. Yeah, well, that, you know, there's going to be different things happening with friends and family. So I hope you have had a lovely day, and I hope you're continuing to enjoy your celebrations. Happy birthday. Lizzie from Wales, this is William Hawthorne 1375. Lizzie says, hi Emma, I do watch out for those dratted crawlies in your rice. Indeed, all dried foods. You'll need to empty your cupboard completely, wash out with hot soapy water, a few drops of bleach, check all packets. I even had them in my mugs. They make this discussion about these things make me itch. They came from an opened pack of Weetabix, which wasn't even old. I think sometimes they are in the packets we buy. Need to be vigilant. Now, Lizzie, you'll be pleased to hear that I actually read that comment out to my husband when you posted that 2 weeks ago, because one of his favourite things to do is take the packet out of the cupboard, use it, and literally put it in the cupboard with the top completely open. Might be sugar, might be flour, might be pasta, with the top open. Well, I just think that encourages things to move about in your cupboard. Oh dear. Cook Mum, which is Andrea, says, I've not done the 99 challenge, but does 20 large kitchen bags full of donations count? Wow. You're really getting tidier, Andrea. 20 large kitchen bags. Wow, that's fantastic. You're being really strict to get rid of things. Well done you. That's excellent. Sharon Root says, oh, you got your washer fixed. I know, I was excited about that too. Tracy Four says, Henry is a great vacuum cleaner, but he certainly is a bit of a workout. Yeah, he is. Linda Hayes says, hi Emma, I'm sorry to say that to date the macrame plant hanger that you sent to me has not arrived. I'm afraid it must be lost in the mail. I'm not sure when you sent it, but I believe it should have been here by now. If it does arrive, I will let you know. I just didn't want you to think I was being rude by not thanking you. Oh. Oh, wow. I put a face with crying with tears. And then Linda has put, it came in the mail today. So literally the first post was 2 weeks ago, 14 days ago, then 11 days ago. It came in the mail today. I'm so glad. Thank you so much for sending it to me. Oh, Linda, our postal service. That's ridiculous. I sent that, so I'd have to check back my records. But I sent it. You're in the United Kingdom, aren't you? Oh, no, you're not. I need to check back where you're from, because I sent them to places abroad and places in the United Kingdom. And everyone else has got theirs. So that must have been sitting in a post office room somewhere. That's crazy. Well, I'm really glad that you've got it. I was then thinking to myself, I don't have any at the moment that I've made. And after your post, I was even thinking about this on holiday. I said to my husband and daughter, my husband said, well, you can just make another one. And because I've not got any made up. So I was getting ready to make you one. So I'm so pleased that that's arrived. Karen Howard said you accomplished so much, even with just everyday chores. Oh, that's very kind. Louise says, I had some bugs in my Weetabix. It was the end of the packet and I disposed of it appropriately. So it seems like Weetabix is one of the things that they seem to enjoy. Yummy. Those crunchy bits. Dulcie Rose says, hi Emma, you are doing great carrying on with the 99 items. Going back over your older videos shows how much you have improved. You don't overthink things so much now. Keep on going. Thank you. Tracy Force says, wow Emma, I'm super proud of you for being on the radio. Great interview. Oh, thanks Tracy. Stacey says, great radio presentation. I love it. From Stacey in Virginia. Grandma Allison says, wow, so proud of you for being on the radio. Great video. Thank you for sharing. Have a blessed day. How lovely. Thank you ever so much. And then the last comment I'm going to go through from today is Claire Dubois. Hello, Emma. Well done on another 99 plus a few. I was wondering if it might be easier to keep count with a clicker or a tiny chalkboard to keep tally. Oh, I'd like one of those clickers. You know those clickers as people go into restaurants or nightclubs or whatever and they click, click, click. I could hold that in my hands, although would I then forget, have I clicked or not? And then I'd have to stop the video and rewind to see whether I had clicked it or not. I get so focused on what I'm doing, I might forget to click. Although not sure if chalk dust could affect your daughter, so maybe not that. Actually, she has had chalk in the past. And she's been okay, but usually in a ventilated room. You seem to be much more decisive and less hesitant when decluttering. So well done you. I hope you have a lovely weekend. Thank you very much, Claire. Claire with a lovely, pretty spelling. Claire with an I. Oh, my dear friends, sometimes I forget that I'm being recorded, I'm videoing myself. And you can see at that point I was dancing with a gingerbread man. Also, there were 2 occasions where I banged my head. The first didn't hurt that much, but the second really did. And my daughter made the point, oh, I could turn that into a little video like I did when I fell on the floor. But I decided against that because it would take me forever to try and edit that piece out. But you can see there's quite a lot under my daughter's bed. And quite a lot that we decided to get rid of. So rather than there being loads of bags piled up with crocheted stuff, which I do need my daughter to go through her crochet items and all the different wools she's got, we put it all in one basket. So that was good. We repurposed some things. There was a massive great pink crochet cord that she'd made. And I said, well, why don't we use that on our suitcases? Because all our suitcases are black. And it's quite good. If you've got something brightly coloured, then you can spot your suitcase quicker, can't you, when it comes off the conveyor belt when you fly. There are a couple of puppets that she's finished with. So we managed to get rid of quite a lot under there. So all this area now can be hoovered. So I do feel like we are making progress. And I think my daughter feels pleased when she gets more space back in her room. Now I'm getting towards the end of my video. So thank you very, very much of those of you that have supported me. Please do help me further by trying to help me get to 4,000. I know about 40–50% of people who watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you aren't subscribed, please do consider subscribing to help me. And then right at the very end of the video, for those of you that are interested, I've put a couple of very short clips of Amsterdam. So we went on a canal trip. Actually, I wouldn't recommend the particular company that we used for a variety of reasons. It was very squashed. We went on it at 10 to. We booked the 11 o'clock, but they were very keen to get us squashed into the boat beforehand. The audio was not in line with what we were seeing, if that makes sense. Then the driver kept making a few jokes about things which weren't really appropriate given that there were some children on the boat. I think a number of the jokes would have just gone over the children's head, thankfully, but that's not my sort of humour, some of his comments. But it was really lovely to see all the different houses, to see a few different monuments, and just because it was lovely weather as well, it was just nice to be outside, so that really was enjoyable. You'd also see a little clip of the market that we tracked down, which I really loved, my daughter loved. My husband ordered a stroop waffle which had been made in front of him and let me have a bit of it. I said no, I didn't want one. And then I wanted to eat half of his, but I didn't eat half. I just ate a couple of small pieces. And then, yeah, you'll just see a couple of little clips around, including the flower market. So I hope you enjoy that. But obviously, if you're not interested, then you can go and have a look at one of my other videos. And there, I thought I'd leave the video a little bit longer so you can see some of the bags. So I said to my daughter, if you can take those 2 bags and put them in the old bedroom. So we've got 2 bags ready to go for our car boot sale. And then the other 3 bags we've taken downstairs, 2 for the bin and the other one for recycling. So I'm pleased about that. So I've done this voiceover and I'm going to do some washing up in the kitchen. I'm going to go and do some gardening. And then me and my daughter are going to start having a little look on the playroom to see what we can get rid of there. I'm just really do want it to be a space which she can use. And at the moment we've cleared out so much, but I feel like there's so much more to do. And of course we've got this Lego in the lounge, still taking over about 1/4 of the room. So we really need to make a point of sorting all of that out. So I hope you have enjoyed my video. Sorry it's been a while since I've had a video out, but you know that we've been busy and been away. And if you're not following me on my other channel, Emma's Life in Norfolk, please do follow me there, because if you're interested in other things that I get up to, I'd be very pleased for you to subscribe to that channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I think I'm only on 680. But once I get to 1,000, as long as I've got the viewing hours, I can monetize that channel. And then right at the very end, you'll see a clip of a really lovely church in Amsterdam, which we thought was beautiful. And I did buy a few little notebooks from that church, and I'm going to talk about that in a future video. So I hope you just enjoy seeing some of the things that we saw. Thank you very much to those of you that have followed my journey, and thank you for your support and kindness and for all of your comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!